Okay, so example number 2, we want to graph a quadratic inequality in two variables where a is greater than 0, which means it is positive, meaning that it opens up. Okay, so we want to graph y is greater than or equal to x squared minus 4x minus 5. We want to do it manually as well as using our graphing calculator. So we're going to need to find our vertex. So I'm going to use our vertex formula, which is x equals negative b over 2a, okay, where a is 1, b is negative 4, and c is negative 5. And we don't really need c, so let's not use that. Okay, so x is equal to, b is negative 4, so we're going to plug negative 4 into negative b, and then a is 1, so that gives us 4 over 2, which is 2, and then find our y coordinate to our vertex by plugging x into our quadratic equation. Okay, notice I'm using the equation, not the inequality. Okay, so that gives us 4 minus 8 minus 5, which is negative 9. And so we have a vertex at 2 and negative 9. Okay, notice that a is equal to 1, so we can use our regular step pattern for that. So we don't need to find any x-intercepts, or you can if you want by factoring, but we'll just use our pattern for that. Okay, so let's plot our vertex. It's at 2 and negative 9 right here. Our first step is 1, our second step is 3, and our third step is 5. Okay, so you can see we've got an x-intercept at 5. We'll do the same thing over to the left of our vertex. Our first step is 1, our second step is 3, and our third step is 5. So we have a x-intercept at negative 1, and you can see we have a y-intercept at negative 5. Okay, so now we want to draw our parabola in. So do we use a dotted line or do we use a solid line? And if you take a look, we have greater than and equal to, so we're going to use a solid line. And so we graph up. Okay, and then we'll go up to our chart that we made earlier. So we have a is positive, and we have greater than and equal to. So we go up to our chart. A is positive in this column, and we have greater than and equal to, which is right here. So that will give us a graph that will look like this. So we want to shade on the inside of our parabola. Okay, because that means greater than, so above the line, and we shade this in. All right, let's try a test point just to be sure that we're absolutely right. And I'm going to pick 0, 0. Okay, so test. And plug it into the original equation. Okay, so 0 for y, 0 for x, so 0 is greater than and equal to negative 5. That's true because 0 is greater than negative 5. It may not be equal to, but it is greater than, so we say true. And so we know that our shaded region is correct. Okay, so let's try this on our graphing calculator. Okay, and I have already put the equation into y equals. We're working with this equation, right? And so I've already entered it in. Okay, I'm using the window settings that will match my grid that I have here. So I have an x-min at negative 4 and an x-max at, I'll put in 10. Okay, and I have a y-min at negative 10 and a y-max at 4. And if we go straight to graphing, we get this. Okay. Now we know we have greater than and equal to. Okay, so on our graphing calculator, the icon that means greater than is the one that graphs above the line, so that's this one here. Okay, and remember that less than means below the line. So that's this. Okay, so this is above line and this is below line. So we go back to our y equals and we go left arrow and we enter until we get the one that reads above the line. Okay, so that would be this one, and we graph and you get this. Okay, so on your grid here you can write, alright, we know we have an intercept here and one at 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Solid line. And shade inside. And there you go. We are done.